In today's video, I'm going to share with you my favorite resources for making fabric face masks. So stick around, because what else would you possibly be sewing right now? Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my handmade lifestyle and I'm Patty. I go by Pattymac Makes everywhere online. On this channel, we really like to roll up our sleeves and get into the weeds with all things handmade. And currently, a lot of us are really into that. So I'm happy that more people are interested in baking, sewing, gardening, all of that. But I wish it didn't take this terrible virus to get us to that place. I do hope that when we get back to our normal lives that we carry some of the lessons of living a quieter, simpler life forward. You can't go on any social media platform or really watch any news program, read news websites, whatever. You can't go anywhere now without seeing information on sewing fabric face masks. And there's a lot of debate on it, and I'm not here to argue with you about it. Okay, we're not going there. The CDC recommends that all citizens wear masks when you're out. They want you to have a mask on your face, and they believe that it will help both on the transmission end, more on the transmission end of things, but also it offers some protection to somebody who is not infected if you happen across the path of somebody at the grocery store who is shedding virus. I'm not going to debate that with you. I'm going to speak about something regarding making the masks that maybe it doesn't affect everybody this way, but a lot of people I've talked to, it does. And it is not spoken about openly, if at all, or it's only very quietly mentioned. And, but I feel like somebody needs to say it, because if I'm feeling it and the people who come to me secretly sending private messages or thanking me for bringing it up, then I know that it's going to also be affecting a lot of you watching. And the fact is, this is not a fun or easy project to make. It's also not a 15-minute project. I don't know how people are making these in 15 minutes. I don't know anybody in my real life that has been able to sew one of these in 15 minutes. I don't know who these people are. I'm glad for them, but I'm not one of them, and all of the people I know are not among that crowd. So if you are struggling to get them made, just know you're not alone. And it's not you, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. The first time I made the masks, it took me all afternoon to make 3, and I was exhausted, and I just was upset, and I just find that I think it just brings the reality a little close to home, and how scary things have gotten all of a sudden. And that was a really hard place for me to be in. I am not somebody that can sit here and sew these things endlessly and donate them. First of all, I don't feel qualified to be making anything for medical professionals. I just don't. I don't feel comfortable making products like this to sell. I just don't. I considered it. No way. It's too important, and I don't feel comfortable with that responsibility. So I'm not selling them. I'm only making them for myself to wear when I go out, and for a very small, limited number of people I know in real life. That's my feeling. I am not the only one that feels that way. So if you're among that crowd, just know that you're not alone. I feel like there is so much information out there that it's really hard to know where to start. And if you're going to sew masks, and I know a lot of you are new to crafts, you have gone out and bought all these materials, and you probably don't really know where to start or what to do. I would suggest that you sew a few items. So sew a few different patterns and see which one works best for you, because we all like different things, and something that I find difficult you might find really easy. And so just try some different patterns, and I'm going to share with you some of those now. The first one is like really popular, and it is the preferred pattern for medical professionals, and that is the Olsen mask. And it has a seam in the middle, and it's got a different kind of a fit to it. It doesn't need a wire, which is nice. And a lot of people are sewing those and really liking them. It also is made to have elastic, so good luck finding that. If you find elastic, go ahead and play the lottery, because that stuff is like gold right now. But the Olsen mask is really well liked by a lot of people. Similar to the Olsen mask, this one is like super popular on Instagram. Everybody's making this one on Instagram, and it is the version that was designed by Craft Passion. And she made hers basically to help protect her family from pollution. I'm not sure where she lives. I'm kind of thinking South Korea, but I don't know. It's a country with a lot of pollution, and so she made the masks to help with that. And now people have really gotten into using them to help with the coronavirus. And so her pattern is really well liked. It's very popular, and so I do recommend that one. Button Counter has a pleated pattern, and she made hers initially to help with allergies. So, you know, virus aside, if you're somebody who has a lot of seasonal allergies, wearing a mask is a great idea because it keeps the pollen out of your respiratory tract. I have wicked seasonal allergies, and was told a long time ago that I should be wearing a mask when I cut grass. I haven't been, but now that I have these, I'm going to try wearing them when I cut grass and see if it doesn't help with some of the allergy situation. But a lot of people are also making it to wear with the virus. So Button Counter, she's got a nice pleated pattern, and mine is similar, but mine is longer. Also, Missouri Star Company. I love Jenny, and she is like a trailblazer in terms of putting sewing content on YouTube. And she's got 2 different videos. She made the masks a couple of different ways, one with elastic, one without. Really great videos. She's a wonderful teacher, and definitely take a look at what she's got to offer. And by the way, all of this is in a blog post that I put together, and I'm going to link you to the blog post. I am not going to link out to all of the resources because I have it all in one place. And just, if you're inclined, head over there. All the information is there. All of the links to all of these patterns and makers is there. Another one of my favorite makers is Dana from Made Every Day. I love Dana. She is both a pattern designer and a fabric designer, and she's super great. She has a wonderful YouTube channel. Her mask is also very popular, and her twist on it was to use knit fabric. So she uses knit fabric to make her ties, and it goes around the head, not around the ears. And very well liked pattern, and she's just awesome in every way. So you might really enjoy that pattern. There's also a special pattern for the DHH community, which is the deaf and hard of hearing community, and they rely on lip reading, and when you've got a mask over your face, they can't see your mouth anymore. And so a young lady designed a pattern that uses vinyl in the area of the mouth so that people who are deaf and hard of hearing can still lip read or see your mouth. And it is nice because you can still see somebody smile. That requires vinyl, which requires, I did some reading on that, you'll need like a leather needle. It's very heavy duty. So anyway, but that's linked in the blog post. Everything goes right to everybody else's patterns. Big thing with making the fabric mask is going to be your fabric choice. And you want to use a quilting cotton, you want a heavy duty quilting cotton. And this is what's known as a woven fabric. And a woven fabric refers to the way the fabric is made. And it's made because they weave the fibers and it creates what we call a stable fabric. So it's not real stretchy and it's generally pretty thick. So it's stable and it's thick, and it's why we use it in quilts, because it holds its shape. And when you make a quilt, you have all those sharp angles that you want to keep intact. So a woven fabric is your friend. So this is woven fabric that I've cut. You can see it's like it doesn't stretch, it stays in place. And the woven fabric is what's recommended from CDC. They're calling it quilting cotton. It's because it has a tighter weave, and so less particles, supposedly. I am not a doctor, I'm just telling you what I've read. So less particles will penetrate the fabric. It is best that you have a little opening in your mask where you can like put in a filter. And I've read that using like a little piece of flannel is really good. Like the flannel really helps block. So like on my masks at the bottom, I've left it where I can slip flannel in, and you can see this one has flannel. I don't know how that's going to be to wear in the summer. I'm a little concerned about that, but it is what it is. So for my mask, I've got 2 layers of quilting cotton plus the flannel filter in between, and that's how I've been wearing mine. And I did a little wire inside, and then I can shape it to my face. I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily recommend doing what I did because it's really hard on your sewing machine. But I only made a couple, and I made them for myself that way, and that's all I'm doing. But yeah, so the woven fabric. I've seen people who are doing stuff where they're like cutting patterns out from t-shirt material, and that is not what you want to do. That is called a knit fabric. So a knit is a real stretchy fabric. It's got like larger holes than this does. So knit fabric is not your friend. Knit fabric is okay for the ties. You don't want to make your actual mask from that. So I know that's tempting. I know there are some no-sew versions that people are sharing where they use t-shirts. That's really not, that's not going to get you the filtration that you really should be wearing, that's recommended. If you are one of these really wonderful, generous people who wants to make masks to donate, the question is, where do you take them? Who's taking them? And how do you get them to your intended party? There's a fantastic website called masksforheroes.com. That website will tell you who is asking for donations and what it is they need. Not everybody will take a fabric sewn mask. So don't just make the assumption that you're going to make a bunch of masks and take them to your local hospital. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that they are accepting that before you get all that trouble to make them. And we don't want to be wasting materials. We don't want to just be making all of this stuff that doesn't have an end purpose, because the materials are really being bought up at a crazy pace, and we want to make sure that they're not going to waste. I'm all for making stuff and donating and all of that, but just make sure that you have a place for it to go. Masks for Heroes will give you phone numbers, contact information, everything. So that is a really great resource if you are inclined to make for donations. I hope that answers some questions for you. I hope that you get some insight on where to start if you're wanting to make masks. There's a lot of information to wade through, and I spent a few weeks really looking at all of it, and I hope that my compiling this will help you to feel like your head is not spinning out of control. Because that's how I felt for a while, because it's just everywhere. But just keep in mind, none of this is medical information. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm just sharing resources with you that I found helpful, and that is really good information, and it can help you so that your head is not just completely spinning out of control. Okay, so that's everything. I hope it helps, and good luck with all of your mask making and wearing, because the wearing is the important part. You've got to wear them. So good luck with all of that, and I'll see you in the next video.